Hi, my name is Elena Lopez, and today I'm going to be talking about the Mary Wollstonecraft statue and feminism. First, I want to start with some statistics, and that is that according to Statues for Equality, there are 5,993 statues surrounding the United States, but only 394 of them actually represent women. So, the reason that I chose this topic is because I feel that women have been overlooked for so long that when there is a public statue that is dedicated to them is a surprise for some. As statues, they are naturally intended to honor someone, and this indicates that this is a person that is worth remembering, following, or admiring, but there are not enough statues representing strong and empowering women, nor there is enough people talking about this issue, which is why I chose this topic. So today I will explain my rhetorical analysis of the Mary Wollstonecraft statue by going over Mary Wollstonecraft, who she is, her achievements, the controversy surrounding the statue that was built on her name, and the gender inequality in statues by going through an introduction, the description of the artifact, analysis, methodology, implications, and the conclusion. Now, what are monuments, what are statues, and why are they so important? So statues, they play a significant role in people's lives, with each monument created for distinct reasons, and they are designed to serve certain goals or other interests. So the ideals and virtues reflected by public remembrance, they are frequently concepts that are respected in a community, which is why people sculpt these statues, which is hard effort, honesty, and bravery. And when there's the honoring of a person by public statue, there is always like this invitation to other individuals to ask themselves, why is this person being represented in a statue? Why is this person here? Should I know the name of a person, right? Now, a new study by Art UK, which is a charity and a website, they revealed that in London there are more statues of animals than it does of women and people of color. And according to the charity, only 4% of public statues represent women, while 8% of them depict animals. In the same circle of statistics, people of color make up just 1% of the statues, and women of color are only seen in 0.2% of those, and publicly. Also, when we think about statues, the first thing that comes to mind are men. Men are their horses, as you can see in the images here presented. But these are sculptures that are not, as we can say, unique, because we see the same men in 20 different statues, and we see that same man standing up, or that men sitting, men in marble, men in this way and men in the other way. But this is not something that we see with women. We don't see them being represented that much in statues. Now, let's talk about an exhibition that actually was done by someone in Dallas, Texas, uh, with this vision of inspiring other women and also little girls. So this is an example of how powerful women are taking the initiative to inspire other women and girls by creating their own exhibition of statues of real intellectual women in STEM, and this was done by Minerva Cordero. This is the If Then She Can, the exhibit. This includes over 120 life-size sculptures of female STEM leaders. STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And while women make up over half of the broader labor force, they hold only 26% of the STEM jobs. And this exhibit demonstrates a plethora of professional opportunities available to young women who pursue careers in the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics area. Each of the sculptures here, they contain a QR code that connects to a web page with background information. They have images, video stories about the women that are being represented. This is also the largest 3D printing effort of its type. Uh, and this technique of if then she can also has this basic truth, which is seeing is believing, and is that when a girl sees a woman succeeding in a STEM job, she's more likely to want to pursue a STEM career herself, sorry. And these are some pictures of the sculptures that are on a mall. They are inside of the mall and are on the outside too. And people could take pictures and they could scan the QR code and look at some information and just be inspired by this amazing exhibition, actually, which is something really unique and really amazing and creative. Now, let's look at the description of the artifact, which is the Mary Wollstonecraft statue. So, due to Mary Wollstonecraft's impactful activism, a sculptor decided to honor her work and created a memorial statue, which is a sculpture for Mary Wollstonecraft. That's the official name. This sculpture was costed $190,000 and was a decade in the making, so 10 years and a lot of money. This is a public sculpture commemorating the feminist writer and advocate, and it was unveiled on November 10th of the year 2020. The work was installed in London by the artist here, and the picture in the middle, Maggie Hambling. The work is a representation of a naked female figure cast in silver bronze and presents this small nude female figure emerging out of this organic matter. Also, the sculpture has a plinth and there is inscribed one of Mary Wollstonecraft's most famous quotes, and is, "I do not wish women to have power over men, but over themselves." Now, let's look at the analysis. So, who is Mary Wollstonecraft? Mary Wollstonecraft, she was known as the mother, and she is known, still, as the mother of feminism. She was a prominent philosopher, educator, and the author of the landmark works such as A Vindication of the Rights of Women, as you can see here in the picture, which was published in 1792, in which she expressed her main demands to promote women's rights such as equality and education. She was the second of 7 children, of whom only one of them was able to receive a formal education. In addition, Mary Wollstonecraft, she grew up in a really violent environment within her home, and for this reason, she decided to study on her own. She escaped from her house and just educate herself. As a defender of women's independence, she had a lot of influence on the lives of her own sisters and also a friend. And with them, she actually opened a small school in Newington Green. And actually, it is fair to say that also one of her most famous works, which is A Vindication of the Rights of Women, she actually made a strong claim for the rights of women and girls, criticizing the educational system of the time, which is why she decided to open her own school, which the system of that time was deliberately teaching that women were incapable, they were weak, and frivolous. Actually, to also comprehend the radical character of Wollstonecraft's writing, we must first comprehend how severely oppressed women were in that era, which recognizing that gender equality is a relatively new concept, because women in that time and throughout history, many thinkers regarded women to be illogical and intellectually empty entities who existed solely for the sake of beauty and procreation. This is quote unquote. Okay, and now that a statue commemorating her memory has been created, it has also arised a wave of criticism, considering this work as an insult. And some critics have perceived the figure as a depiction of Mary Wollstonecraft. However, the campaign behind it, they describe it as a sculpture of an idea. Mary Hamlin's vision was to create this statue that it represents the everyday woman, something that would represent Mary Wollstonecraft's work with the in her contribution to the feminist movement, but it is not a statue of Mary Wollstonecraft. But a lot of people find the statue really insulting, due to its nudity and because they said that this is a way of objectifying women. And as a really famous writer also mentioned, and her name is Mona Hathaway. She clarified that more than the nudity of the statue, it was the way it has been imagined and sculpted, which is what it was problematic. And this alludes to the question of, is it really about the nudity of the sculpture that attracted criticism, or is there a deeper meaning to it? And Mona Hathaway also again stated that for her, nudity is not the issue, but to whose gaze is this directed to? And this is alluding also to the male gaze, as if Maggie Hamlin's intentions were others. And also, there's another famous writer, Tracy King, who also stated that of statues of named men get to be closed because the focus is on their work and achievement. Meanwhile, women walking or jogging through parks experience high rates of sexual harassment because of their bodies. They are considered public properties. And a lot of people have um, many people that criticize the statue have this idea that yes, there are statues and they are a form of art, but they are not there to serve the same purpose as a piece of modern art in a gallery, as a statue is something they say more reverent, and that it depicts the person and their achievements, and Mary Wollstonecraft shouldn't have been depicted in that way. Now, when we think about women being depicted in statues, what we mostly see are mythical and allegorical figures, which is not something that women want to see. But we mostly see Aphrodite and Venus, which are from the Greek mythology, and we also see Mary, the mother of Jesus, due to Christianism. Now, why is women representation in statues so important? According to Sculptures for Equality, it is critical to have women statues all over the world since they are often overlooked when it comes to celebrating heroes of the past and present in the form of public statues or public monuments. It is said that women account for barely 2 to 3% of public statuary in practically every country throughout the world. Also, creating monuments of women is an investment in the future of equality. There are already hundreds of sculptures of men, which future generation they will be able to learn from them. Now it is the time to set the wheels in motion so that other generations they can learn from women as well. Also, there is no better way to demonstrate and achievement than to immortalize it in a statue, as they also do with men. Public sculptures guarantee that the story lives on long after the individual has died, educating and inspiring future generations. So it is time to empower women and share their stories. Um, there are few outstanding women that are being represented in statues, and this is not due to the lack of them, but rather because they are not appreciated on the same level as men. So, for my implications, the first one is that the constant objectification of women has created fear for things that should be enjoyable. As I mentioned before, with the statues, many of the feminists within the community didn't even give Maggie Hamlin a chance to explain herself. What was she intended to do with the sculpture? So I feel that many of the statues that might come that represent women, they will cause a lot of this wave of criticism again due to the previous and constant objectification of women, and it created this battleground of women just criticizing and fighting each other, and also there are a lot of men that actually have an opinion on this. Another implication is that it takes a woman to showcase the success of another woman, as it was shown with the exhibition in Dallas, Texas. And also with Maggie Hambling, it is always a woman showcasing the success of another woman because no one else is going to do it. Not another man, it is us helping each other. And for my conclusion is that worldwide an entrenched idea of who should be celebrated has resulted in more sculptures of men than women. Public statues are a reflection of a society's values and the things they find important, and if women are not included in this public visual depiction, it sends a very clear message that women and the contributions of women are not important of those of men. Thank you so much, and these are my references. Thanks.